We're live. They don't have a chat doc for some reason. Oh, it's because I'm not signed in. Yeah. I didn't want to have to be doing this stream. And if anyone's wondering why I'm talking so quiet, it's because I'm living out of a hotel right now. And this is the only time I could arrange to get this sorted. And, yeah, it's a bit late. And so I gotta be on the quiet side, but is that better?
No more staticky noise later.
What, the stream?
Yeah.
Well, it's reconnecting.
It's buffering on my screen, but
Is it better
might be
now?
my internet. Oh, yeah, now it's going.
Okay.
Every freaking time I'm about to say that, it starts buffering again.
Maybe my phone's got shit signal. God. Stop.
It sounds good on YouTube, like audio wise,
Wait, are
for the
we
most
like
part.
it? So like, is it just the video that's buffering, but audio's continuous?
Let me listen for a second.
Okay, it actually looks like it's smoothed out a bit now. Yeah, okay, it's smoothed out. So, let's get to this fucking bullshit. So, I've been getting slandered up and down the fucking prairie. Now, one of the things that's been accused of me is that I'm this drama, like, rage baiter and stuff. But this is the first video, first post, first anything I have done in attempting to deal with this, bar me making some comments directed at Nicole in my own server because I have no interest directly messaging her. I have not commented on the attacks they did to me before. I just say that of it. I shouldn't have to feel the need to comment on these things. I have to, because this bullshit is going way too fucking up my wazoo. It's absolutely batshit. Some of the fucking accusations that are being made of me that we're going to be breaking down throughout this video that are just absolutely beyond belief. And what the core aspect we're going to be looking at here is just the absolute fucking dishonesty that is on display from these people and the way that this cultish fucking behaviors in regards to defending Comrade Nick goes on, especially when we expose the way in which this whole Jeffrey figure comes into play. Because, yeah, Jeffrey's a real person. Like, fucking, that's not a matter to be fucking oh so worried about. Yeah, he used to be a Strasserist. And we're going to talk a lot about stuff uh, that fucking implicates his involvement in shit. And me and him are going to be making a conglomerated video regarding the abuse of net because Jeffrey's moved away from being a Strasserist. Is he someone I completely politically agree with? I don't think so. Like, I think we have a lot we do not get along on. But he's someone who's moving to change his ways and was also traumatized by the same person I was, so I'm going to work on a video with him. This isn't some alliance or something. This is just same interests. I don't want kids being pulled into this fucking org again, because the thing that I found when I met Jeffrey was that he was groomed by Net at 15 years old. Falcone was introduced to Net at like 14, if I remember correctly. So Net is just building up this portfolio of trying to fucking influence the youth with his fascist ideas, along with this Rubin guy and this Dion Gibbs. So, like, my quarrel is as much as Net's ability to influence the ideologically unprepared of any age. It's explicitly as well the danger fascists like this has towards the youth, and that he has tried to pose towards the youth. We've got to actually analyze here the intrinsic positions that are being held against me and that are part of their argument. They're inseparable from their argument. And then look at the evidence they provide. Now, what is it? Uh, I have all the evidence they provide on the screen. It will cover the entire screen. It won't see the normal thing that's on the screen if there is any evidence. If there's no evidence, the screen won't change. 3, 2, 1. Hey, there's no evidence. So, the situation that we're gonna have very fun with is it's like an apple bobbing game of discussing the shit that they've been disputing it, and having a good old laugh at the absolute barbaric lack of any evidential positions. Like nothing is proven. It's all he said, she said bollocks. We can all play the game of he said, she said. When are you actually going to provide me something of any sense of value that's actually going to tell me that I am a this or I am a that can confirm it? Because I could make one-ton accusations, like, about anyone. We all can. If you can't actually substantiate it other than she's anti-Semitic because her problem is with Net. So what you're telling me is if I'm manipulated by a Jewish man, I have to find his Anglo-Saxon handler and punish him. Or is this the fucking feudal? Is this feudal England? Like, is every Jewish man like an accomplice to like some an apprentice to an aristocrat working as some like middle class slave or something? Like, fucking hell. Germany called. They want their weird stereotypes back. But, like, no, if I'm fucking manipulated by someone who is Jewish, I'm going to criticize them for manipulating me and distance myself from them, just as if I was manipulated by someone who was English, someone who was French, or someone who was German, someone who was fucking any kind of ethnic group. This logic is profound. Anti Semitism is targeting someone for their Jewishness. Not, I don't know, like targeting someone because they're a manipulative bastard. I am fucking not trying to, like, and that was the accusation made by Nicole on her Twitter that kind of made me laugh. I'm trying to say, oh, I have got Jewish friends, so it doesn't matter. I have Jewish comrades. Was actually my position that happened to be after I talked about my connections with the Jewish community, not just knowing Dr. Weisfeld, not just my support of the Buddhist movement. You kind of get involved in a whole lot of shit when you actually branch out as a Marxist and build connections with people. Something that people have ever had literally no experience in, it seems, because their head is in the clouds. Like, when I talk about comrades and cadres, even if I mention a couple examples of people I'm really close to who are like not just comrades, but they are like brethren. Like, you know, I am fucking talking on a wider scale than just interpersonal interactions, like quote unquote friends. Communist movement doesn't need friendship circles, it needs cadres, it needs comrades. So, like, all of this, my friends, my friends, my friends, is why Nicole surrounds herself with people who might be anti-revisionists, but also people that are revisionists in ways that are, like, concerning. Because it's not quite in the sense of like, oh, I interact with people that are all sort of decent and try and pull them over. It's more of a, they're fellow Marxists and a unity amongst Marxists. What Lenin means, he doesn't mean we pull the revisionists together with the fucking principled Marxists. He says quite the opposite. The whole point of the unity of Marxists is that, well, principled motherfuckers, we need to unify and form the strongest backbone we ever can for fucking struggle. But it's a bit fucking, it's a bit fucking wobbly if anyone's got anything to say before we start actually diving into things, 'cause I'm not the most
I'd
prepared.
also, I'd also like to point out too that it wasn't just you being slandered as well. It was literally me, and I don't really care. It's just more so that like they haven't even like interacted with me at all. Like literally like being as diplomatic as I could. Dr. Weisfeld was also attacked in this stream numerous times as well,
Yeah,
along with Jeffrey and Lumpen-Kelt to a very limited extent. But yes,
I mean, they dogs Jeffrey, like, Jesus Christ. Don't care what he used to be. He's obviously making changes to himself now, and if he's still an opportunist and he fucks up, then so be it. But it doesn't mean you dox the fucking kid.
yeah.
He was 15 when that got his hands on
Yeah, bro, and like you said, like she's fucking talking with like revisionists and shit, just like allowing them to roam free. It's like, oh, there's like former Titoists or active Titoists, or former Trotskyists, but low key active Trotskyists, and like Mark Foster, and being promoted on her channel and shit.
And not correcting them or saying like, guys, this is the line you should be holding.
Yeah, because you absolutely could promote these people if you do it critically. Like, promote some of the things that they've said because, like, okay, let's say we form a united front, there might be Trotskyists in it. You absolutely could highlight something they've said if they've said something good. They're always going to have said something bad, which means there has to be criticism. Otherwise, you are just promoting wrong ideas, which is stupid.
Girl, and where the hell is the criticism? I was expecting a criticism video, honestly. After Mark Foster released a video talking about um, like the comparing the subaltern to the lumpen proletariat, and where Mark Foster expressed his absolutely ridiculous definition of lumpen proletariat, where he was basically just categorizing the entirety of MAGA as lumpen proletariat, even though MAGA is primarily like petty bourgeois.
And, and also this whole holding former beliefs of people who used to be, fascists when they were in their youth. What about you being like a 30-something-year-old man who starts, let's say hypothetically, a YouTube channel and it's called Ewoks Unhinged, and you promote Genghis fucking fascist beliefs for several years. Um,
Yeah.
Oh, and admitted to us in the group chat once when we were all talking about this stuff with him that he was like a weeb fascist at one point.
Who said
Right.
anti-Semitic? Who said anti-Semitic things?
Yeah.
Made
Yeah,
anti-Semitic jokes.
which is super ironic considering he's the one saying that Carr is now anti-Semitic for simply criticizing somebody that just happens to be Jewish. Like,
I mean, I won't
And
hide it when I
perhaps
was.
anti-Polish sentiment.
I mean, I
yeah.
won't hide it. When I was into fucking Nazism, yeah, I had anti-Semitic beliefs. No fucking shit. I stopped being a Nazi like when I was in high school. Like, like I stopped being a Nazi before I even stopped being a fascist. That's probably the funniest part of it. And do you know how? In year 10, I think. Yeah, I think it was year 10 of school. We were learning about the American West, and I learned about the native and African genocides being waged by the Europeans. And what's it? Only takes so many lynching, like portrayals and images and video clips before you start to really have that shit click, click, click into your head. And I saw some gory fucking pictures of all sorts of different shit regarding the trailer tears and stuff like that. I did see them. They did go and teach us about Custer getting his ass kicked though.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
that
the
sort of
whole
like that made me when I learned about that I couldn't be racist like consciously anymore. I could subconsciously be racist still, but like conscious racism just went bleh, ick, you stinky. Um, 'Cause obviously the ideology I'd been preaching had been pushing genocidal shit, so it kind of caused me to have a fucking relapse. Not relapse. What prolapse? That's the one. Isn't that when your ass like caves in? Yeah. I have a chat, right? I should check the chat. Lol, the Maoist community is a total joke, guys. Sadly, literally ending years-long friendships over minor disagreements. Minor
Purple
disagreements.
rascal.
I didn't even see a comment.
It's because they deleted it.
Dating a felon
Or
with
you
his
might not have
name.
it on all comments. You might only have top comments on.
Oh, there it is.
It's because
Just
someone
a
denying that you
disagreement.
were abused by someone is a minor disagreement. Oh, oh, and the cis man gatekeeping me from my own community. Like,
Yeah, that
Jordan,
was a total fucking Jordan. That was a fucking embarrassment.
fucking like, and trying to claim that I wrongly accused them of transphobia last time. I'm sorry. Calling me a gender warrior and an SJW, as well as a stereotypical white woman, is both misogynistic and transphobic. And
Yeah, 100%.
and like when you then turn around and do double think and go the opposite direction. What am I, Jordan? Am I a gender warrior? Do I not care about my own community? Like, am I fighting the battlefield of gender and ignoring class completely? Or am I so focused on class I don't even think about my own community regarding gender?
Yeah, because he literally made statements like saying both of them at the same time, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
I just, I've been talking about it more than you because I talked about it in 2019. Pardon, I uploaded my first video, a Palestinian protest, in 2021. So, what protest videos have you uploaded, John? How close to your first video were they? Motherfucker.
Dude, act,
Go on.
You've also done more dedicated streams on trans issues and total hours streamed on talking about trans issues than Jordan by quite a convincing margin. So
Yeah, and he's got like way more hundreds of videos than I do on his channel. Oh, and I'm actually on some of his dedicated trans videos.
yeah,
yeah.
there's one with you and Nicole and Falcone.
Yeah. And there's a few of Jordan's streams where it's not dedicated trans stuff, but it's mentioned in there, and I'm also on there as well.
Yeah, and we had tons of streams with him where we would just talk about a bunch of different topics, and trans issues came up pretty often.
Mm.
So
Yeah, because
And
I'd be the
also,
one bringing them up a lot. I'd bring them up a lot around election issues. It was one of the reasons I brought up, in the 2020 election, I did push that, okay, Biden's going to win anyways. People need to continue protesting. It's fine that it's going to go this way as far as, like, people keep protesting. People didn't keep protesting and shit crap for, but that was always my position of the 2020. But, like, you know, I was always speaking out on stuff regarding, like, the aftermath of that and how we needed to keep pushing forward on Jordan's channel. That's it. Before I had a YouTube channel, I obviously wasn't producing videos. When I first got a channel, obviously, I was a little trepidant on the topic because I was in the closet. I was in a situation where I'd had a revelation. Back in, it was either 2019 or 2020. Uh, it'd have to have been 2019. It'd have been somewhere in the early side of the year. And like I had a revelation engaging with another trans person that kind of smacked me around like a brick, and kind of was the last thing to open Pandora's box in a way where I couldn't close it. So the egg completely cracked, and then I sat on those feelings for like 3.5 years before I actually, um, no, 4.5 years, before because it was been late 2023 when I actually like spoke to someone about fucking being trans. But yeah, I was stewing on that shit. So yeah, I was a little trepidant around the topic because internalized transphobia gets really fucking rampant when you're brought up in a toxic masculine household and you're contending with the fact that like you can't dissociate from this anymore. You've done so much for your life, but it's over. The box is completely open. Genuinely trying to do this fucking like Olympics with me on your relationship to the trans community. Jordan, you have a few trans friends online. Shut the fuck up, white boy. Like, genuinely. Oh, and this one drop bullshit. Oh my god. MRN, when I was involved with it, were touting my Irish heritage, using it to show off and all that. As soon as stuff goes down, they will go out their way to shit all over it. And I'm just like, okay, time to make me just English all of a sudden. It's just like,
yeah,
why
and then
for
they went
what?
on their like anti-English.
But
Yeah, then they went on like their anti-English rant or whatever, similar to how Jordan was like, "Fuck all Ukrainians." Like,
oh yeah,
Jordan's meant to be a fellow Irish person. But fuck, he's already fucked up on the scale of the Irish perspective one by saying fuck all Ukrainians. That'll fuck away close. The Nicole is Anglo-Norman that has like heritage with like Norman aristocrats. So like, the fuck is she talking to about being an Angloid? I hate the Anglos. You know, no, I don't really hate Anglos, but I do hate Normans. Think everyone can agree Normans suck. Um, I mean, I don't hate people inherently for being Norman. It's just a funny meme. Folk over in the UK will know what I'm going with. The Normans sucked. But nevertheless, jokes aside, like, I you can't hate a people based on their ethnicity. That's really fucked up. Regardless of who it is. Obviously, colonized and oppressed peoples are gonna have the vitriol to get out. That's for them to deal with. Like, no point in me going around lecturing, like, fucking what, like, certain groups say that are oppressed by a certain empire about X or Y thing. But at the same time, I wouldn't support that shit either. Like, I'm gonna obviously support the communists and those groups that are also gonna push the exact same position I'm gonna push right now. Because I'm sick of the way people will use like, oh, the ex-colonized group will say this, well, this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, do you know what? People in England say the same shit that like people say that's horrible about those kind of like groups, and will say that fucking all English people are horrible because English people hate each other just as much as English people hate everyone else. Is the vibe that like at least British comedy gives of the weird and wacky world we live in. We're very spiteful people in this country, and what's that? It's a thing to really take into consideration is that bigotry is fucking directed through institutions primarily. That doesn't mean there aren't other ways to be bigoted. Um, One thing that really comes into this that actually plays into institutionalism is by espousing bigotry that shuts down me in reference to my to my uh, what's the Irish heritage, by frowning the fact that I have English heritage, is to try and commit to the process, the end point the cultural genocide leads for my family, the disconnections it did to me. It's like why I've had to like rekindle and start rebuilding the slow and steady process of gaining the full access to my culture. You know, the fucking shit is West Brit, East Yank fucking shit that we would see over in Ireland, where, you're not Irish unless you're famous fucking Irish singer about you got like thick accent and you related you're first or second generation uh immigrants in a place or something. But when you're being a bit too far on, you won't be considered Irish enough, even if it's only a few more generations like it's in mine. Uh, what was it like? They left Liverpool in either the 30s or the 40s. So like, um, my granddad generation were the first ones to be brought up in the Midlands, which is an easy way to get fucking anglified real fucking bad. And what's it? Pushing. I'm basically very interested. Um, and so pushing that shit kind of reinforces a lot of fucking weird racist shit. And once again, it's preaching one drop rule, which is just heinous. I'm pan Celtic and I'm English.
Right.
Yeah, and it was I don't know if you saw that fucking troll comment. It's like just look at like the way these people act. Like that Purple Blastoise person was said like Ireland is like a sad little moss of an island or something like that. Like
this is how these people really think.
Yeah, they're just letting the real feelings out at that point. Like,
You're one to the Kara, you whites, then darks to lol Ireland is sad damp moss of an island.
that's what dark fans really believe.
No, you. I
Just foolishness.
just to feed the hysteria. I've taught him well.
And it's funny because like when their fans like will like come after you, um or any of us really, like they would say reactionary shit like that's an actual reactionary comment that was just left. But then like they'll say like they'll call like genuine criticisms like the comments that Gangros left, or the comments that you left on some, what was it, Dark's video, but you're shadow banned, like I'm sure all of us are shadow banned from his channel. um like those are apparently reactionary or anti-pagan or anti-Semitic. Even it was like Jordan was like saying a bunch of stupid fucking shit about saying like, oh, isn't it curious that Kara is like singling out Net, and he's a Jewish person. I was like, really? Like, so if there's a Jewish person involved, are they just like incapable of being criticized? Like, can you not criticize them because they're Jewish? He's not like, he's not being criticized because he's Jewish. He's being criticized because like he's a shady motherfucker and is an abuser. Like, he's grooming people.
He admitted that he abuses his fucking wife, like on multiple
Yeah.
occasions. I mean, when I used to be a part of his ilk, he turned around to me and admitted that he likes to manipulate people, that it's his favorite way to convince people. Yeah, that's the kind of guy that Comrade Net is. A scoundrel.
Right. A nuisance.
And then they were talking about in like the video that he did with Nicole. They were like, he said like he was trying to like get somebody that was like stupid enough or something like that to like take this position for that group that they were talking about. Like, it's like, wow, you're really talking like in such a demeaning tone, like tone about them, like someone stupid enough.
You see, he might be telling you a few porkies there.
Yeah.
They want, see, dumb is a weird way of putting it, because if anything, he wanted someone who could actually be quite intelligent, but would also fall in line, because actually, most of their like ideological stuff actually comes from this Jeffrey guy. Like, so I don't know, like his position in PSFMA seemed to have been useful for him. Maybe they did want just some guy who would do too much and they got a bit nosed by that. I don't know. Because seems to me that they were on board with it. Because there's also that Dion Gibbs guy that they were working with who was funneling neo-Nazis into the organization. Um, you have
Right.
fucking what's it? And then you had Net pushing the organization to recruit neocons and what was it? Not neocons, sorry. Tea Party voters. Yeah, no, I think it was. I think it was neocons and Tea Party folk actually, yeah. I can't remember. I could pull the message up, but I can't be asked. Um, because I just there's just things that I'll substantiate when I do actually make a piece exposing that. Like, because I'm done with this shit. Like, I just need to push back on some of these positions being pushed by Nicole and Jordan because I'm just sick of this fucking shit where if I just breathe because I comment on a video saying that you can't legally just go around like like attacking transphobes in fucking Arizona. You can't go and get people fired for being trans. in Arizona um, yet, but like it's getting bad in Arizona. There's been a few bills that have been proposed that Flashy will talk about in a bit. Get like
Yeah.
really into the weeds
Yeah.
on it, and like so I was never discerning that, but I will say that it was just a point about the fact that like it isn't just like legal and a legal law that pushes the police in that direction as well, or allows people to do this where they can just go and attack trans people wantonly, and even fucking Weisfeld seemed completely perplexed by what Net was saying with a bit of a next. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the upsurge of this recent drama is just totally was bizarre to me. It just totally caught me off guard. Um, because it's like they were like, oh, the recent attacks from like Kara's comment on like Weisfeld's channel, and I was like, I hadn't even seen your comment yet. Um, when they made that shit, and I went to go look at it, and it was literally one sentence, one fucking sentence. And I was just like, this is absurd. And it wasn't even like something crazy. It was literally just like a pushback. It wasn't even like an attack on Net either. It was just like a pushback on something that was said. And it,
Yeah.
it wasn't even in detail of like, you could have been way more detail. All you said was like one sentence. Like,
Although
and
unfortunately,
that's enough to trigger a 90-minute attack.
unfortunately though, they probably would have fucking had a field day trying to fucking frame it otherwise. Um, I don't know if it's because Vicehold has a censor on or something, or whether YouTube just got angry with me. But it didn't. It posted the comment, but it was invisible to me, and it must have been to everyone else. It just disappeared. And it was I put also put calling for culture wars or fanning about culture wars is literally a Nazi dog whistle.
Yeah, that was, jeez. And it's just interesting too, because it felt like watching that video, it was pretty clear that like Weisfeld kind of knew that that was full of shit. When he was talking about that shit, like the whole culture war crap, and talking about Arizona and all that. And I mean, we've literally looked at like the employment discrimination. There was a something from the Human Rights Campaign that Gangaros posted, showed that there are definitely states that are better on LGBTQ protections, especially on things like in employment. States like California, Oregon, Washington, states like that. But there is still more protections in Arizona than there is in the Deep South, or even like some of the up northwest, like Idaho and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's why it's still considered on the list of places that are like just about safe to go. Like, uh,
yeah, and the thing is too is like this whole, what was it, Arizona Rebellion or whatever the fuck they're like LARPing as and shit now. Um, like if they really cared about like trans people in Arizona, like they should at least be more familiar with the situation going on here. Like be specific about like some of the bills that are being presented by like the Republican Senate and shit, the Republican led state Senate, like because they've been introducing a lot of shit, especially revolving around LGBTQ discrimination in schools specifically, and a lot of them have been vetoed because they've been presented again and again, and they've been getting vetoed by the governor. But veto power is, not a great way to stop these. Like there needs to actually be a push for something like either added to the Arizona Constitution or added different law, like an actual law, instead of just using veto power. Which like I'm surprised, like why are they not talking about stuff like HB 2625, which was introduced in January of this year, which would actually says here, look, I'm looking at it, says HB 2625, also known as the Statewide Non-Discrimination Act, would expand protections to include sexual orientation and gender identity in Arizona's existing non-discrimination framework, providing LGBTQ plus Arizonans the same protections they are provided to everyone else in our state. Our bill would make Arizona the 24th state to protect LGBTQ people from discrimination and update state laws to ensure that all hardworking Arizonans are treated fairly and equally by the laws in our state. Though Phoenix and Tucson have non-discrimination ordinance laws already in place, it is time for the rest of Arizona to catch up and provide these necessary protections. And that last part there, talking about the ordinance laws, is a very important thing too, because those aren't even the only areas that have ordinance laws in place either. Glendale has non-discrimination ordinance laws, which they have an ordinance that bans discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodation and a unanimous vote. That's in Glendale, which that should know about. Especially Scottsdale has one, Mesa has one. There are ordinance laws in place already, and like on like the local level, and they're trying to get shit passed on the state level. Why is there not a push, like a grassroots push, to actually get some of this shit passed?
It's because the Arizona Rebellion's tight on cash.
Yeah, it's pretty wild shit. There was one of the bills that was vetoed was SB 1040, which would have banned trans students and school personnel from using school restrooms that match their gender identity and allows people to sue schools if they share a restroom or similar school facility with a trans person. That would have destroyed the school system and made it to where schools would actively encourage discrimination against trans students so that they don't get sued.
Yeah.
That was vetoed. That has to be there has to be an actual law put in place to make sure that that shit is not available, able to happen.
Which is gonna require a lot of protest struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And if are actually on the ground, people struggling and supposedly being allies of trans people, they should be pushing for this the hardest of anybody. They should be the vanguard of that movement.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also to bring back this whole trans thing, it's like as well, like I I remember when Jason uploaded a video about the trans person who shot up in at that one school, and Jason had Nicole on to talk about it because he said he thought a trans person should talk about this issue. And I knew that Jason's audience was transphobic. Well, some of them are. So I knew right away that there was going to be a lot of hate directed towards Nicole in the comment section. So I got in right away and put respect, comrade. And she said, thanks. And I think I got the most upvotes on that, at least for the comment section. And I did that in solidarity with a person speaking on this issue and knowing Jason's own history of transphobia. It's not just him, it's his audience as well. But, I guess I guess this makes me an evil transphobe or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Another bill I wanted to bring up that was also vetoed, which, by the way, like it just shows how many of these fucking bills are having to be vetoed and how aggressive the Republicans are trying to push these anti-trans bills here. SB 1001 would have made it illegal for teachers and student or school personnel to respect the pronouns of trans or non-binary students without written parental permission. If anyone knows anything about trans issues, especially in Arizona, there's a huge fucking connection between trans kids coming out as trans and then them getting kicked out and disowned by their parents and thrown out into the streets, like
Yep.
adding to the homelessness problem. That leads to another thing too, talking about the zone, which is the nickname given to a large area in the Glendale and Phoenix area. That had rampant fucking homelessness. There was encampments there, and they were actually recently swept up. They cleaned up the zone, quote unquote, cleaned up the zone. In other words, they forcibly removed homeless people from there due to a petty bourgeois, by the way, a petty bourgeois lawsuit from petty bourgeois small business owners in the area that sued and the city of Phoenix and won and were granted $220,000 each for the win lawsuit. And stemming from that lawsuit, they ended up removing people from the zone, removing homeless people. Homelessness is still a really big fucking issue By the way, just getting rid of it obviously doesn't, like, moving them out of the fucking area doesn't solve homelessness.
Yeah.
On top of that, too, in response to the removal of the zone, uh, there are institutions like Society of Saint Vincent de Paul that is creating a homeless shelter in response to the removal of the zone. Um, why the fuck are these people not getting heavily involved in that? Like, where's the support for that? Where's the building of the Vanguard there? Do they even accept the Vanguard concept? Like, what the fuck? They seem to have no connection with the masses. Like, I live in this area, I have no fucking idea who these people are. Never seen anything from them.
If you can't even attract Marxists or anarchists or whatever flavor of ideology you want, let alone the people, like, no one's gonna know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, I keep on seeing, like, all I see around here is like DSA shit. Like, I want to get more involved in, like, the fucking local community and, like, organizing and shit. Where the fuck are these people? Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things I think we could be doing for the community here right now. There's a lot of potential to build a Marxist vanguard here.
Well, you see, we need a secretive cult in order to take over the government and implement socialism. No, wait, that was Blanquism.
For real. Like, let's start pushing, like, fucking universal sanctuary cities and shit like that too. It's like solidarity with the immigrants and shit. But whatever. Yeah, I guess we're not doing none of that. But talking about fucking
What they'll do is
talking about fucking. I'll go for it.
what they'll do is rather than doing any protesting or organizing, they'll send an email and it's totally gonna nut there to a YouTube Marxist internet paper fucking Maoist, and then they'll come make a hit piece video for them rather than actually doing anything political that's useful.
Yeah. I'm talking about, like, shutting this thing down or whatever, and it's like due to lack of funding. It's like, what the fuck is the funding for? I don't see any fucking programs around here. What are they using this shit for? Like, so is it a LARP fund? Like, what the fuck?
They had funding but can't afford a smartphone.
Yeah, that's ridiculous shit.
So that they're organizing
And then
to communicate with people. I know homeless
and then
people
when
that were fucking like people on smartphones at the moment. I'm in the fucking call right now who I knew on the streets with this smartphone.
yeah, and then when, like, Lumpen was pointing out that, like, Lumpen knows like people around this area too. They've never heard of, like, any of this bullshit. And they're like, I think Nicole responded like, "Oh, they must not be looking hard enough," or something like that. How hard the fuck do we have to look? Like, I live like 5 to 10 minutes away from, like, where these people are supposedly operating. I've never heard anything from them. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, do we want to start bringing up some of the stuff specifics on anything?
Yeah, getting into the video. Guess Noob has the.
Damn,
Can I add something?
Yeah, definitely. Hoping you would.
Yeah, in case Nicole, Jordan, everybody's listening, I'm the one that I'm on. I've been skeptical of all this bullshit with the massacre. I'm the one that keeps busting grills and kind of suspicions. So stop blaming for grills. I'm the one that brought all this up to them in the first place. No, I am not the puppet master. That's what I just said. I've been skeptical first. So leave the grills alone. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, you were the first one who told me about that with like him promoting theocracy in Iran with the fucking, hijab law that then the one woman was killed
Masami.
because yeah, when she was killed in the protests that got off with that, which by the way, trans women are also affected by that.
That's
Yeah.
it.
No, I'm just tired of that. Yeah, I'm tired of them blaming me for all this. I'm the one that got suspicious, got skeptical. Can both of you with this?
It's just like it's kind of funny because I think Net already deep down knew this because if you remember when I first started having troubles with MRM before I actually left, they were accusing me of being like controlled by you or influenced by you. I've been told that I changed since I'd started interacting with you.
Yeah, I don't control you. I just gave you my honest thoughts and opinions. It's up to you to go with it. I'm not controlling you or anybody.
Do we know who controls anyone in their mind? Because apparently everyone's my simp. But then, like, Gengaros is the real puppet master. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what is it? Well, like,
And they
everyone's
said
my
like
simp. It's like, what? Because I'm a woman and I've got it's just my womanly ways. My womanly ways just has all of these fucking non-binaries and men under control. Like, this is an awful
and it
sexist
almost
stereotype. Like, are we really gonna
yeah,
go
it
there?
is like yeah, it is like kind of it is like sexism. It gives like a misogynistic tone. It's like, wait, so we can't just agree like on the merits of the ideas being presented? Like we have to be like simps or fanboys or whatever? Like what the fuck? Like no.
Reduces me to being someone fetishes. It's really disgusting.
Yeah, it really is.
The thing is, if this Arizona rebellion and LA Underground and Epico is going to be the state and underground, then why is it the Black Liberation Army in the 70s and early 80s, which were enemies of the state, which who were underground, still doing community work? What's the excuse of these groups that did community work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing too, talking about like ideological differences and shit. It's definitely stuff that needs to be fucking criticized and shit as well. Mark Foster recently said that Iran is not part of the capitalist world system. What the fuck kind of bullshit nonsense is that? This, this is like this is like one of those instances where it's like it seems like third worldism and the three worlds theory just overlap. Like this is one thing from the three worlds theory that they just took on. Where it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like, if they're part of like the third world or whatever, in your opinion, like they're inherently revolutionary and like not part of the capitalist world system. Like, what?
That
There's no
makes no
capitalism
sense.
in
Like,
fucking
yeah,
Iran. There's capitalism in Iran. Like, what do you mean they're not part of the capitalist world system?
yeah, there's capitalism everywhere. Fucking, it's a whole fucking global system. But no, I guess it's not part of the capitalist system.
It's weird as fuck too to like not see Iran as the basically the other side of the same coin as Israel, like a local imperialist power that is also utilized by greater like even larger imperialist powers. It's the same thing going on in Iran. It's an imperialist power, local imperialist power being utilized by fucking like Russia and China, the BRICS alliance in general. Like this is all inter-imperialist fucking conflict shit. And that's not to say that you shouldn't fucking utilize the inter-imperialist contradictions, but it is saying that you shouldn't be siding with one side or the other as revolutionary or not.
yeah, because when Lenin said revolutionary defeatism, he didn't mean truly be the
Yeah. Like this is basic Marxism, Leninism shit. It's like,
yeah. Lenin was sure not dissolved organization.
yeah.
No, what you must be is Lenin was a Maoist, so that's the only assumption we can make now.
Yeah.
Like Lenin literally flashed Trotsky's ultra imperial devotion to the ground.
Yeah, it just seems to like all come fucking full circle and shit. Like they're pushing like Kotsky's ultra imperialism shit. Like they basically have the same position as the fucking the Nazbols and shit on this, where like they're just coming at it from like a different perspective. Like they'll fucking say like with these third world, it's like they'll say like, oh, China's like not socialist, like the Dangus would say, like the fucking Nospols would say, but they're still inherently supporting like the local imperialist powers like Iran and like the anything that's anti-US. Like,
Yeah, BRG called it neo-Trotskyism.
yeah, it's 100% fact too.
Yeah,
I think
but
there's like
Taylor Maupin said you don't criticize anti-imperialists.
living
I
by
was
the
gonna,
rule.
I was gonna screenshot all of the like timestamps that were sent, and so everyone has them. But holy
There's, like,
shit,
so
this
much.
is thorough. There's a lot. I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. Then it was like, I got like to 20 minutes worth of Nicole's video. And I was like, holy shit, there's hundreds. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about my autism there.
Wait. Okay, so Nicole says culture war is not a fascist dog whistle. Also, that comment was visible to some people. And it's rage baiting. So, like, okay. Culture war shit is a fascist dog whistle. It's literally a way of trying to detract away from the social economic struggle of fucking both primary and secondary contradictions by only fixating on certain aspects of secondary contradictions. Culture wars are centered on usually white supremacy or cis supremacy and other stuff like that. Trying to go on about a fan of the flames of culture warriors when Net himself has pushed onto me positions in private trying to suggest that Arizona is like dominated, or Phoenix at least is dominated by women and is a matriarchal society. Something that is objectively not true. Another shit like that goes to show he has this meninist perspective on the world where he thinks men represent an oppressed category, which it does not.
Yeah, and the fucking matriarchy comment literally aged like a fucking like half a fucking avocado. Like, look at the fucking abortion shit that's going on here.
Lazy Phoenix
Plus,
is obviously a matriarchy.
that dog whistle is also from postmodernism. They're focused on the base, they're ignoring the superstructure.
Mm-hmm.
Not counts. The superstructure and the base both connect to each other.
They're fucking for eternity, which is like, you know, the Ouroboros of dialectics.
Yeah, the base and superstructure reinforces each other both.
Struggling for advice to give your friend solid reinforcement. Take example from base and superstructure.
No, Jordan and Nicole need to really go outside and touch grass. They really do.
God
In a
damn,
major
yeah.
way.
Like, I'm waiting for them to make a protest video. I'm just waiting.
I'm gonna let the joint laugh my ass off listening to it.
Oh, God.
I don't. They're just gonna say more bullshit and say like, "Oh, you're gaslighting us" or some shit like that, and you're an opportunist without fucking knowing what these terms even can mean, and just
They just throw
using
these
it as a
fucking
fucking
yeah, it's like a culture fucking shit for them. It's sad. Like they don't actually fucking understand the definitions of any of this shit. They just throw it around like to try to pretend that they're Marxists. Like what the fuck?
And then
Yeah,
there's
like you
this
said earlier, I
accusing me
think.
of being
the law.
There's this accusing me of being misandric and constantly resisting men.
It's hilarious.
So, how many
Alright,
people here are like either like you know, are not women basically, either non-binary or men especially, given that this is directed at men alone, but we'll take anyone. We'll give them fair game because I'm nice and fucking
I'm not,
Yeah, I'm a cisgender man. I've never sensed any misandry.
Me kind of
Cisgender
talk.
male.
Yeah, me.
Wagwan Lumpen-Co.
New.
Who, me?
Yeah, you was trying to say something.
Me and you talk in private. I'm not binary. You're a trans woman. We talk in private about proletarian feminism. And me and you have both criticized the misandrist. We've both said we do not hate men. We don't hate men.
Yeah, I believe Par, you and me have also had conversations about like proletarian feminism and how like liberal feminists like they fuck everything up, like they actually like they're actually harmful in many ways to like the relations between men and women. Like
And so yeah, I've been quite the opposite. I mean, I had some difficulties with misandry in my life because I'm a victim of like, God, well over like 15 years of fucking male perpetuated domestic violence. So, that shit kind of does fuck with you a bit, but I got better over time because I got my shit together. So, misandry has not been a problem with me in regards to how I've operated in this situation. My issues with Net don't come with a hatred of men. Either do my issues with Jordan or Jason or and not that I've said much about Jason actually. Um, or Nicole has nothing to do. Well, Nicole's a fucking trans woman, so like, it has nothing to do with her. So it's not misandry. It's definitely not misogyny.
it's this same kind of mindset too that they come back to like when Jordan's like was calling you anti-Semitic without any substantiation of like what you've said in recent times that it's been anti-Semitic. Like
Yeah, how is this any different than the BBC calling Jeremy Corbyn anti-Semitic? Like,
yeah, for
it's the
real,
exact same thing.
it really is.
Yeah.
He's gonna be mad about that one though.
I mean, what's it like? It was the way Nicole took that example like, completely out of context. Like, it is very important to understand that anti-Semitism is about making it about the Jewishness. It's about saying the Jews, they are the manipulators, not me going, this person who just so happens to be of Jewish heritage has actually manipulated and abused me. Those are very different statements that mean very different things. Like, it's like,
Yeah,
they think I was born yesterday or something. Oh, they were born yesterday, because it's either they are like nitwits or annoying liars when Nicole's posting shit like that. She has to have her head so far up her ass she can't see what she's actually lying to me. Or lying about me.
yeah. These are absolutist statements. They do these absolutist statements about this global conspiracy about they. So they view them as like a monolith, like the Jews. They're all like these bankers who are nation destroyers or whatever the group that they're targeting. Like, which is interesting because Jordan does that a lot too. He does absolutism like fucking wild.
Oh
So
yeah, you really
I mean,
you
like,
really fucking
and because it's based on absolutism, I wouldn't, become really close comrades with this Jewish man, become his closest, like, one of his closest friends, and then, like, fall apart with them because of trauma. No, if I was just, like, rabidly, anti-fucking Semitic, I'd have hated him from the start. I actually
Yeah.
really liked Net at one point. Net seemed like a really intriguing person. He's a bit fucking wacky, but I'm wacky, so I don't mind that, that's my kind of fucking point. You know, he's an endearing person. He seemed kind of lovely, like he seemed like a misunderstood person. Turns out there's a trope about that. It's called the nice guy. Yeah.
Another thing kind of bothering me, um, and if Nicole hears this, I hope she actually takes it in like a good stride and everything. Um, but I keep on seeing her posting like reposting Mark Foster videos in her Discord. A lot of Mark Foster videos, and I guess he like Mark Foster's like now part of like the Red Pagan Network or something. I don't know, but I don't think I've seen a video made on criticizing Mark Foster's idea of the lumpen proletariat, which is weird because like wasn't it like at one point she wanted to like start something with like you, Kara, and Lumpen Celt as like a lumpen specific type of organization or something? I don't know the details on that, but Mark Foster has a horrible, horrible definition of lumpen proletariat. Like,
No, so she actually
and I,
posts that video in her network page on her fucking Discord.
I'm actually curious if she did post that specific one. I'd have to go back and look at
I'm
that.
pretty sure she posts everything Mark Foster posts. Last time I checked.
Yeah, because he posts a lot. I don't know if it, yeah. Uh, I would say like I was expecting, I would expect like a criticism video on that, like about her analyzing. That would be interesting to see. I would hope she would make that video criticizing Mark Foster and his bullshit definition of lumpen proletariat. Because the way he keeps defining lumpen proletariat, he just defines them as basically the enemy. He keeps defining them as the non-class conscious MAGA crowd, which is predominantly fucking petty bourgeois, like super reactionary shit. No, they're not lumpen, but like most of MAGA is not lumpen.
She needs to
Um,
fucking learn what subaltern means.
yeah, I would say the same about Mark Foster, but but
Yeah, but he's
she
probably
said
more familiar with it than she even is.
oh yeah, he is, yeah. Um,
Is the,
I'd
is the
like to read
poll
this.
open?
There's this Mao quote though that she should be upholding, especially if she's like has Mark Foster as part of the Red Pagan Network and is going to be like actually like organizing with this guy. Um, this is from Mao's on the correct handling of contradictions among the people, which I mean, as a Hojis, I obviously have my own criticisms of this work, but this quote in particular is very good, where it says, "quote This democratic method of resolving contradictions among the people was epitomized in 1942 in the formula, quote, unity, criticism, unity. To elaborate, that means starting from the desire for unity, resolving contradictions through criticism or struggle, and arrive at a new unity on a new basis. In our experience, this is the correct method of resolving contradictions among the people, unquote. But I would expect more open criticism of that, because Mark Foster is not putting out anything good on the lumpen proletariat whatsoever. He seems to
but you
cling
see,
to the outdated fucking ideas of Marx and Engels, who I think Engels was worse than Marx on the question of the lumpen proletariat because Engels openly said that anyone who even bothers to try to organize lumpen proletariat proves themselves as a traitor to the movement. That's a super reactionary position of the lumpen proletariat. Not only in this day and age, but I would argue even for their time, it was kind of absurd for them to say that.
Yeah,
So that's
I
something
mean,
that worth your criticism.
the distinctions were definitely different than they are now because the London proletariat, just like the proletariat, was still growing, still forming. But yeah, because that's the thing as well. The
And they,
distinctions in the proletariat have definitely changed too.
yep. And at times they also talked about declassed and like having declassed people be lumpen proletariat. So just saying
Stupid.
shit. Yeah.
I mean, on the fact of what's it? On the fact of the my TV accidentally turned on. 1 second. BBC News, anyone? They might actually shut down the stream if the shit's on there for too long. But yeah, on the fact of unity, struggle, unity, that was the position I was originally riding off in the sense that, like, I don't necessarily think Jordan should have privately criticized me with the bullshit criticisms he made before. It was always a point of, like, criticism within rank you know, like, let's say you're the central committee of the White Panther Party. Are you gonna have a struggle session within the central committee itself, where you come together as comrades, talk shit out and struggle with each other and come to a conclusion through democratic centralism? Or B, make a piece for the Pravda newspaper or whatever equivalent the White Panther Party have, their street newspaper, where the chairman will turn around to one of the chairwomen and throw a criticism at them, and then the next week's issue she'll throw criticism back in the newspaper, and you just argue like that. Is that how you debate? No, that was
Yeah.
a core element of my criticism. No, because then you bring things, if you do things in an actual rank and file struggle fucking session where we're actually coming together, you bring things on, you actually get somewhere. You actually get to develop and grow and advance comrades forward. And if you're actually pushing something that's wrong, you can get your shit pushed straight away. Well,
Right. Exactly.
they would
And
use
that's
that.
why.
They would use that against. Oh, do you want to say what you're going to say actually? Because I'll remember mine.
I was just gonna tie it into like the Gango's thing if you want to finish up. What you were saying.
Yeah. So I would say that, um, so they would try and use that against me and be like, well, look, you pushed for that there. Why wouldn't you? With Repagan trying to bait me into DMing them as if that was ever going to go well. When they were literally just shat all over Gengaros when he tried to speak with them, and she went and lampooned me all over her Twitter when I spoke to her within my own server. But the
Yeah.
fucking well, I say spoke to her, she refused to speak to me, but the in a situation where you have already not started with the intention of unity, why should I struggle in unity with you? I have no reason to. You have cut your ties in the fact that you are not trying to improve me as a comrade. You are trying to smear me as a piece of shit. Say it for what it is. That's the fucking motto I live by. So, there is this is us struggling in for unity in mind. Like, fuck, we actually criticize each other, but we always come together on the fact that we as fucking anti-revisionists need to be in unison. Like, and we're gonna have our disagreements, but it's all about coming to a solid conclusion that can push things forward that we know is sound. Like, and that we can fucking majoritively, through democratic centralism, agree on. All of us here are for pushing forward modern vanguard in the first world. We don't think the stupid third worldist idea that there is no possibility for a first world vanguard is not only even like considerably applicable, but it is completely heinous to even consider that it comes from a perspective based in reality itself. Vulgar labor aristocracy is the positions pushed by people who hold that kind of perspective, and those are the kind of people that insult workers the moment they open their fucking sloppy mouths and start going on about how the proletariat doesn't fucking exist.
Yeah. And it also ties into like um those Rashid articles that Lumpen-Maoist posted.
Oh yeah, I want to do a dedicated video on those to slam the third worldist bullshit.
Yeah, because those are some really freaking good articles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also on the
Lumpen-Maoist sent me them a while ago, and I completely forgot about them. Like they would have been handy a while ago. Like, well, less of a while ago than the while ago that I was sent them, because I think I was sent them early last year. Like they would have been really useful late last year when everything was really kicking off.
Yeah, and that's part of like a revolutionary intercommunal Black Panther Party and shit. And then like you
Yeah,
said, you're doing work with that podcast, and then UPM and everything. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on. Like,
oh my God, yeah, no, all I've been doing is brooding over net, but I have barely had a chance to think about the guy. I mean, that Jeffrey guy, I have spoke to him a few times, like 5 times, and that's text and calls. I've had 2 or 3 calls. I think it's 3. It might be 2. I barely know him to the point that it's hard to remember. Like, he's a new person to me. So, like, even when it comes to that, which most of my talking of net until y'all decided to start making videos on me was with Jeffrey, and sometimes I speak with the comrades here because it's comrades I trust, and turns out you can speak to people you trust about things, but I've rarely spoken about that. I've not spoken out about him at all in like any public space. I'm obsessing over him. You know what I have been doing though? I have been working with the United Panther Movement. I have been helping um Tara Shanti, who runs the book club. I've been helping her out by posting the book itself and doing what I can to help guide comrades through it. There's what's it? Uh, I work with the For We Are Many podcast. People should check out forwearemany.org. Check out the podcast. It's good shit. They got the new African Black Panther Party coming on tomorrow.
Yep, be a
Talk
good one.
about COINTELPRO. It's gonna be good. You know, like I've been really fucking busy. I've been drained because of how busy I've been. I slacked a bit. I was supposed to edit a montage music thing sort of together at the burnings, but I did make one, but I wasn't happy with it and I haven't managed to get back to it. But it's because I've been swamped and I've been exhausted. And I've been trying to build shit moving forward. I've got better interests than Comrade Mott and his trauma of me telling him to shave his balls and wash his ass. Like, I
Yeah,
got more important things to think of, you know. This is the thing as well, is I'm operating at a fucking disadvantage. I don't have, Matt and everyone else made a shitload of stuff already last time with the fucking truth video where he had to make a second video called More Truth because he wrongly accused Lumpen-Maoist of being a fucking fascist for no reason. Backtracked from it, and then all of a sudden now Gengaros is being accused of being a fascist. Will he backtrack from that as well? Who knows?
yeah, for real. That's what caught me off guard. So, you can go ahead and lump the because you were mentioned.
It's funny, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy. Okay, Matt wants to sit there and call Gregorios labor spread bitch, right? But is it Matt living off his labor spread in-laws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a suburb in Glendale.
Someone sold the glass houses, anything.
Mm,
And the
yeah.
crazy thing is, like that's why it caught me off guard so much. When I started, because I wasn't, I'm not familiar with like the entirety, all the lore going on here with this fucking beef. So when I saw that this video got uploaded based off of a one sentence comment that Kara left, and then all of a sudden Gangros is being, who I've known by the way for like 4 years. I've never heard Gangros say anything fascist-like or reactionary-like. I mean, there's been things we've disagreed on before, but nothing fascist-like. So when I heard that accusation, it caught me off guard. I was like, "What in the absolute hell is this?" And I was curious. I was like, "What has he said that is fascist? Like, how is he trying to bring Kara back to like fascism or reactionism, whatever the hell was said?" Didn't get any actual fucking response to that. And I'm still curious, like, what is he said that is fascists? Because it let me know. Because, like, going back to that Mao quote about unity, struggle, unity. If he did say something fascistic, I want to know so I can criticize it.
I don't know how Gengaros is pulling Jeffrey back to fascism if he's never even met him.
Yeah, he's never met Jeffrey.
Also, apparently, I've never shown my face on stream before, despite being on stream with Jason and fellow traveler
When
and
the
you,
streamer
Tara.
criticized Jordan, who was like I think the first stream on my channel where you came with your face up.
Yeah, one of the first, maybe second.
Why does Steve struggle with that cover faces for?
And then you
You
even
want
had that
stuff like
picture. You also had that picture when you were at that Palestine protest with that one Palestinian who, what was it? They were like shot at or something. Something happened there, right?
Yeah, he was one of the speakers. He was he was a victim of a hate crime in Burlington, Vermont. He got shot at. He went to university in the West Bank. Trying to remember his name.
Yeah, like I don't see how like Gangros is being like a shady figure. Like his face has been around. It was just an absolute fucking lie. So like just knowing that and like hearing like the confidence in her. Yeah, and like hearing the confidence in Nicole's voice thing, like, oh, he's a shady figure, and like it never shows his face, this and that, which is ironic because there's a net there with a mask on all the time. Never actually seen
Yeah.
Net's face, but
exactly.
And
Every time that and Steve struggle do live streams, they're masked up. So not only are they lying, hypocrites.
yeah.
But you know what's it like with Gangeros, like does Gangeros have a middle class family and background? Yeah. Is that going to affect them in some ways? I mean, obviously, like everyone's affected by their background. What's Gangeros doing most of the time when he's on my stream? Working his fucking ass off. So as much as hard work doesn't just turn someone into like a good Marxist or anything, like he's someone who at least will turn around and go, "Oh, you're doing a really important stream." Well, usually I prefer to be comfort in my own home, but if I need to be here for you, I'll come even in the middle of fucking work, and that's happened quite a few times. If anything, more often than it hasn't. So, you know.
Yeah, for real, Gangos is always willing to come on and talk.
And I tried to I tried to get in contact with Nicole, and she fucking she just would not respond to me at all. Like, I left that huge comment. I never once actually attacked anybody in that. You can go back and read the comment. I never personally attacked anybody, calling them stupid or anything like that. It was just a list of criticisms, mostly me just going through the video of the criticisms, and then I get called pagan phobic.
Oh my god,
even though I've never talked about paganism once.
what's it? She's going on about pagan phobia because. Oh wait, my mic's not really hot. 1 second, there we go. She's talking about pagan phobia because she's because I criticized Wiccan, a religion made by an Anglo, actually, funnily enough. Because Wicca steals from Irish culture, cultural appropriation, and it steals from native culture, cultural appropriation. So, like, you know, and it's a perversion of Irish heritage. The goddess. Do you want to define which one? There's like 20. Like, are you on about the Eternal Mother? Because she's not the goddess, she's the mother. Like, it's just disrespecting the culture. Like, and it's cultural appropriation, it's colonialism. And like, what? So this makes me an anti-pagan for not liking fucking bunch of Angloids making up their own little fake paganism out of Irish culture. Not deriving inspiration, stealing our culture and twisting it up into something that it isn't. I might be militantly atheist, as any Marxist should be. I am also someone who respects close ties of my cultural heritage, and I have a lot of respect for pagan culture, for Paganach. put it in Irish. And to put it in ancient Celtic, because I actually look up into my heritage on this shit. Like I'm gonna go far back. We're going ancient Celtic. Senestrognata is of very deep importance to me. Senestrognata in ancient Celtic means the ancestral customs. So, like, how the fuck am I anti-pagan? I don't know if she knows, but the ancestral customs of the Celtic people was Indo-pagan. It was the OG shit that come from the Indo-Europeans. Like, it couldn't be going any closer to paganism. Like, it's literally uh, like one of the first spin-offs, that and the Basque. Actually, no, the Basque
Yeah,
predate Indo-European paganism, my bad, but the Basque were influenced by pretty much every religion that had the fucking scene in Europe. But yeah, the Basque predate Indo-Europe. They're a funky little misnomer. Uh,
yeah, and then they went and like said like Nicole said like comparing you to like fucking Richard Dawkins of all people. Like what the fuck?
just comparing me to transphobes is a fun way to behave. Ugh.
And
Richard
comparing like the
Dawkins.
militant atheism of like fucking Lenin to like new age atheism, like Reddit tier atheism, like what the fuck? I'm sorry to say, but please read Marx, please read Engels, please read Lenin, especially on militant atheism.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. All I said was that we need to be. There's nothing wrong with militant atheism or anti-theism. Um, we we should be. The socialist state should be promoting it. Um, the issue at hand is like, you can believe in whatever religion you want. At the end of the day, keep your religion at home, as Malcolm X said. You don't be bringing your religion into party politics. It's like it's the same way I would expect you to not be bringing, drinking or using drugs during party. When we're having a party meeting. It's just, fucking like imagine if somebody who's like an evangelical, I don't know why they'd be part of a Marxist group, but let's say an evangelical came in there and they started quoting the Bible and like Leviticus during a meeting. I think that might turn a lot of people off when they start mentioning some of those passages.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, because Jordan has made videos on quote unquote like atheist chauvinism, but how is that? That doesn't really apply to like a the militant atheist position of Marxists. Like, is Lenin an atheist fucking chauvinist? Really? It's just silly shit. Like Lenin was literally promoting like actively like handing out like fucking militant atheist propaganda and shit. And there needs to be a militant atheist like fucking uh branch of like the party and shit that distributes fucking atheist propaganda.
Because as I said before, socialist states co-opting religion, as we've seen in Poland, as we've seen in Russia, has been another failure.
It really has like the revisionist state, the Polish revisionist state. Just look at how the absolute failure of that shit, how reactionary that shit fucking got. Oh my goodness. And then they were saying like this like Western chauvinist first worldist fucking viewpoint, and that you were like never a Maoist third worldist or something like that, or not even a Maoist or whatever. Like
Well, I guess they're right about, the third worldist part.
yeah, the silliest shit about the people that are these like pro third worldist types though is they keep on like saying that other people are first worldists as if like that we actually believe like whatever the fuck they think first worldism is. Because if their idea of like a they're calling themselves third worldists. If their idea of a first world is somebody that thinks like revolution is going to come from the first world primarily first or only, like the revolutionary potentials in the first world, that's just absolutely absurd and ridiculous. And it's literally slander to try to say that like principled Marxist position, which holds that the objective and subjective factors that exist in every single country, and that it's up to the Marxist vanguard in every one of these countries to properly exploit these all these factors, make sure that they all lined up, make sure that the subjective factor, which is most influential by the vanguard, is in place and ready for when the objective factor comes about. Saying that revolution is possible in every single country, that is like the true revolutionary position, like not this bullshit that there's like no fucking proletariat in the first world or whatever, or that revolutionary potential is only in the fucking third world. That's absurd. Revolutionary potential is all over the world. Capitalism, the capitalist world system is global.
Yeah.
Pretending that there is no contradiction between capital and labor in the imperialist core is absolutely fucking absurd. You're literally just conceding to the bourgeoisie at that point, saying that capitalism. It's actually a super reactionary position to say that capitalism has resolved the contradictions between capital and labor. That's just ridiculous. There's a layer of the layer. There's a labor aristocracy. There's a bourgeoisified proletariat. That just makes it. That means it's all the more work for the vanguard to actually uphold revolutionary work in these areas. And failure to do so is literally just conceding to the fucking bourgeoisie. It's liquidationism. Makes them really no better than the reformists at that point.
Yeah. It's just defeatism, honestly. Do nothingism. Fucking.
Yeah, it's like just a revolving door of contradictions and shit. But anyway, Cara, do you want to move on to the next thing that you want to move on to? Oh no, did she fall asleep on the thing?
Yeah, I think she might have fell asleep because of
Well, if she did, I think if we're not gonna go through the video, then yeah, we already pretty much said everything we can without going through the video, right?
I mean, pretty much. Like basically, it was fucking it was a lot of denial from Nat, basically saying like, "Oh, I never pushed groomed Kara into being a Catholic magi or something," which is blatantly not true. Um, he also doxed Jeffrey, which Jeffrey did not ask for, by the way, to have his name publicly used. And yes, you used his full name with the middle name.
Right.
Imagine if I used Net's full name on a stream.
Yeah, that shit was pretty fucked.
And for the record, I was never so womanist. I was always an MLM. Even when I was an MLM, I was an MLM. I was never so womanist.
Yep. And
I'm
also,
gonna take to everybody too that I join. I'm out to the wilderness.
You think that's why
also,
like they found you to be shady too or whatever, lumping count, or that you were like trying to control Kara or something?
I didn't tell anybody. I just gave my analysis, my thoughts and opinions, and that's for whoever's listening to take with it, do what you want with it. I didn't force anybody to do anything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, and they also said that Lumpen-Kill and Carl were already like getting to Jeff, as well as Gangaroos getting to Jeff or whatever.
Doing what?
Like that meant like you're all already like controlling Jeff. Yeah,
Jeffrey? Oh.
yeah.
Even though I've never even met Jeffrey.
Never met him
or even
either.
talking.
Yeah. and then bashing people for living with their relatives. It's just like really puritanical.
Which is funny because he lives with his relatives, apparently, from what I remember.
His
Yeah.
wife's her latest pets themselves.
Yeah. He also beats his wife too, from what I've heard. Beat her really bad. So nice little misogyny there from it.
If you're listening to that,
I don't think I've
if
seen
you're
that
listening
type
to
of
that,
shit, but he did say that like he's always going through like rough patches with his wife or whatever. So
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah.
I want to say something. Matt, if you're listening to that, try putting your hands on me, see what happens.
yeah, for real.
He, al-
I'm a
he, al-
dog walking that. I'm down the road. I'm dog walking.
he also said that his wife is a terrible wife and all that. So it's just kind of like putting that, like he puts that out in the open and just kind of randomly too. And it's just kind of like, it's sus.
Although with Jordan, it was funny. Considering his position on the first world and everything, how when October 7th was popping off and everything, he fucking and a lot of the protests were going on. He fucking was covering like a bunch of protests from the first world.
That he's never fucking been to one.
Yeah, where's
I
the
mean,
shit from, like, yeah, where's the shit from fucking Jordan on like on the ground like at a protest or something, like giving a speech or whatever, like or even just showing up, like damn.
I have something, but I don't think you'll be listening to this. I want to tell you just said. Okay, I'm a proletariat. I'm a dire poverty. I'm a society. I'm a single parent. My daughter lives with me. I'm a half parent car drive. East of Cleveland. Yet I've been the son of outside purpose in Cleveland. What's Jordan's excuse of not going to any LA or in County? What's Nicole's excuse not going to Portland? What's Ned's excuse not to go to Phoenix? If I could do it, so could they.
Also, let me tell you, you want to go over what Cole's response to you was about like that Panther code shit or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know he exists. I've seen him on videos. I'm not saying he doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, I question him being a legitimate Panther, a Panther code being a legitimate boots on the ground, real struggle, real formation.
Yeah, just because somebody says that they were a Panther from the 60s doesn't mean it's so. Like, there's no evidence of that.
That's the funny thing. When Jason did his first video with Steve Struggle, he starts it as Panther from the 60s. And then when he says to Steve Struggle, when did you join? 171 after the split happened from Cleveland. Oh yeah, he's a small time Panther. He's never in major cities. So what chapter was he in? Some original Panthers he interviews with, they only see what chapter they're in. So why does he see what chapter he was in back in the 70s?
And then when you question like the whole like Panther code and Steve struggle shit, she responded like about oh they must not have looked hard enough or whatever, right?
Yeah, any legitimate Panther formation is going to be boots on the ground, serving people programs, organizing communities.
Yeah, and it's stupid because it was like they must not look hard enough because there's Steve Struggle on streams and shit. No one's saying that Steve Struggle doesn't appear on streams. That is not what at all what's being said.
Oh yeah, I know he exists. I've seen him on videos.
Yeah. We've seen him in his dog shit fucking position on Russia, Donetsk and Luhansk and all that crap.
Yeah, he's a
admires
Nazgul.
Putin.
He's a Nazgul Russia stan, just like Nat, who said himself that he admires Putin. He's a fucking fascist anti-Semite.
Yeah, Putin who said that the Bolshevik Revolution is a tragedy for Russia, and he said that Ukraine is a Bolshevik entity, and he's going to show Ukraine what real decommunization means. That's his hero.
Yep, who blamed Lenin, who went on a rant about Ukraine, blaming Lenin and Stalin for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rest of that comment here is like, I've also been in contact with people who are/were in the Arizona Rebellion. Just because something doesn't exist online or certain contacts haven't heard of them doesn't mean they don't exist. A lot of these people are in the deep underground, essentially enemies of the state. It's like,
Go ahead, sorry.
it's like that's not the fuck how people that are in the underground work, whatever. Like what? Like what have they done to earn this position of enemies of the state? In a sense, where they're any more enemies of the state than any other fucking revolutionary groups organizing? Like, are they more fucking of enemies of the state than like fucking UPM or like the Brown Berets or something? Like what the fuck have they done? Where can I see their stripes at? Huh?
And like I said earlier, Black liberation, 70s and early 80s, was underground, enemies of the state. Yet they still did community work. People knew who they were.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah, like how are
people
you
can
supposed to
actually
be
fucking find.
underground? Yeah, how are you
Yeah,
supposed to be underground if you don't even know who the fuck they are? It's this, like, again, it's this secretive Blanquiest clique that's supposed to take control of the government and implement socialism from above. Yeah, it's Blanquiest shit.
That's
yeah,
so much similar to what the red guys in Austin were doing.
yeah. It's essentially
Let
what
me,
the shit boils down to. It's like, where's the fucking connection with the masses, the mass line, and all that shit? Like, you're supposed to be Maoists, at least like stemming from Maoism, like Maoism, third worldism. It seems like a lot of times the third worldism takes over against the Maoism. The Maoism seems to get eliminated.
and oh yeah, I put that earlier too. I have no car, I have no vehicle. Yeah, I can still make it to Cleveland, half hour west of me, to these past demonstrations, going to Cleveland City Hall, over demanding they declare BBS, marching the streets outside Cleveland for traffic. No vehicle, but they can't do it.
Especially too, like this Arizona Rebellion thing. There's so much fucking work to be done in Arizona. So much fucking
Yeah,
things we could be fucking utilizing to
I
build like
agree.
a movement. I've never heard of these fucking people. If they're doing such badass shit to be considered enemies of the state to the point where it's like you can't even fucking find anything on them, can I get a contact? Because I
Yeah,
want to be a part of it.
yeah. You're Chicano proletarian, and like, why are you not? Yeah, who's a Hojaist revolutionary? Why haven't they gone to you?
For real. I've not heard any of this shit. I want to know where it is because I want to be involved. Because all I ever see around here is like DSA shit, where they're like protesting like Kirsten Cinema or whatever. Like,
I'd love to join a revolutionary order around here in my local area. Like a lot of my area is dominated with neo-Trotskyists. Interestingly enough, Marcyites and neo-Marcyites and fucking
Yeah.
Rabavakian.
fucking RCP shit.
This is what you have. Oh, this is what you really.
What was that?
I was saying, your parents should join the UPM.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we could be doing stuff with UPM too. It's been thinking about definitely.
He's too busy leading the convergence.
No, I
Oh, yeah,
the
speaking of that, they said like you were trying to like destroy the convergence, like.
The convergence doesn't even exist. It's literally just a fucking Skype group. It's not an actual organization.
yeah, the UPM is not formation. So you can be any tendency. You can be a Hoja MLM, what have you, join the UPM. Now, the new ethnic Black Panther Party, White Panther Party, are MLM formations. But the UPM is mass formation. So you can be any tendency in the left and join.
Yeah, absolutely. See, and that would be like actual like good work and shit.
So
Like
Hoja
this,
will go up. Yeah, Hoja will go up to the UPM.
yeah, that'd be hella based. And it's like compare that to like fucking Arizona Rebellion shit. It's like What the fuck?
Or the PSFM fucking shit, which is literally dominated with fascists and fucking this comrade number 3, the supposed fucking leader, well, alleged, he's not a leader of the Navajo people. He's actually a fascist and misogynist as well. Oh,
jeez.
patriarchy is part of our society, culture.
It's a shit part of the culture. I would say in that regard, they should be reading. If they're Marxists, they should be respecting Lenin's writings on that shit. Like we take from each national culture what is progressive and revolutionary, and scrap the
Yeah.
rest of the shit. That's how you build like a genuine international socialist culture.
Why has the American Indian movement? Hey, and why is the brown beret? You never heard of comment in this thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of
Hey,
these like patriarchal, like, capitalist, like categories. I mean, a lot of that's also just been installed into colonized nations across the world. I mean, that's even the case with like Kenya, where it's like all the anti-LGBT laws were actually from the British colonial era.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing too, that's just bothering me because Nicole's been pretty cordial with me, but I just find it, which is why I find it so weird that something as simple as Kara posting a little one sentence comment would set her off to the point where it's like she's doing a fucking 90-minute slander attack against her and fucking Gangaros.
And Jordan adds in 40 more minutes on top of that.
Yeah, 40 more minutes, absolute deranged nonsense. Like
it feels organized, like it was planned ahead of time, like a week in advance. And I think I know why. They must have like their convergence state group where they discuss all this shit, and when they're gonna plan this out, and because they were just waiting for the right time to do this.
Yeah, and like
because it was
here's the
clearly
thing,
net.
too.
Well, it was
And
out of the
yeah,
blue, like real fast.
Yeah, it really was like so fast. And here's the thing too, it's like since the stream that they did, like the 90-minute stream, like Nicole's put out like statements and shit that like she's done with the drama and this and that. She just wants to be like left alone and make videos on her like on her channel and shit. And it's like if she really believes that, like I don't know if that's how she felt, like she should have just kept doing that in the first place. Like why drop this 90-minute stream that wasn't necessary? Kara put out a one sentence comment where she disagreed with a sentiment, and we've already proven on the stream like how that statement was pretty bullshit on that regard. He's not in tune with like shit that's going on in Arizona in the LGBTQ community in terms of the law. And Weisfeld was wised up to that shit, and even in that stream, you could see it in his body language and his tone of voice. But she I actually think she makes some pretty good videos when she's talking about like she's fighting back against like the conservative bullshit talking about trans people being groomers and everything. Like as somebody that was molested by a pedophile as a kid myself, I appreciate a lot of her content. I appreciate the content that she puts out exposing like all these fucking pedophiles and how a lot of them end up being like conservatives, like fucking far right conservatives, like that are projecting this shit. And more often than not, they're probably the type of conservatives that are calling fucking trans people groomers and everything, and like pedophiles and all that shit. I appreciate those videos that she makes. I just don't think that her Marxist videos are necessarily link up too well with like Marxist theory. But those other videos, I definitely see value in them, and I hope she keeps on doing them, and I hope she keeps on focusing on those videos. But just that's why I find it hard to believe that this 90-minute attack was inspired by her. Like that she felt the need to make this fucking 90-minute slander video based off of a sentence. Because they even described it, I think it was similar, kind of new, but I don't know if you can confirm it or not. But like some like this recent like upsurge or recent blowing up or whatever, some language like that used of the drama, and it's just like what? How is this like a upsurge, like blowing up of the drama? Like
Yeah. I mean, now I'll try to spin it that way multiple times. Oh, Tara's like stalking me, and then she's like blowing up everybody, smearing him, even though she's clearly busy. um, and like I said, these attacks came like out of the blue over one comment on Dr. Weissfield's video, a line, and then that turned into 2 videos worth of over 2 hours from 3 different people, and literally in a span of 12 hours on the same day, Friday. So like, yeah, that's why like who was gonna expect us to like respond to such things so fast and even go over in the whole 2 videos? That'd be like over 2, 3 hours.
Yeah, I thought we were actually gonna go over it, but car fell asleep. So.
Well, yeah, and I mean part of it too is like, nobody had preparation for these attacks. There's no real sometimes these videos are blocked, comments get blocked, and then there's literally no criticism available then. It just turns into this like isolation chamber drama video shit, but with like horrible, horrible fucking smears. So it just comes off more record than anything.
Yeah, and it doesn't help either that like they're all sharing each other's shit and like making follow-up videos like immediately, like day of or like
Yeah,
next day and shit. It's like and Jason's sharing shit too. It's like they got
on
Jason,
Twitter.
yeah, they
Yeah.
got Jason's outreach. They've got fucking Dark Synovia's fucking channel, and then they've got
Yeah.
Nicole's channel. And the only one of us that, well, I mean, I don't upload any videos. Gangros, you don't upload any videos. You made a
Nope.
channel. You haven't made any videos yet. Noob, you upload audiobooks on a channel, but not like regular videos. But
Yeah.
like the only one
Well,
that actually like has a channel and speaks on stuff is Kara. So it's like it really is just a targeted attack.
yeah, and I don't want people thinking that the audio channel is like run by fascists because fucking Jordan says that shit and doesn't let me fucking even comment more than once in the YouTube chat. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, come on.
these
Yeah.
people are supposed to be Marxists, yet they'll fucking block any kind of, like any even mild criticism. Doesn't even matter what kind, just like any kind. Just
I mean,
fucking
even some like so-called left deviationists and right deviationists that like some of us have engaged with, don't block that fast. Like, come on.
yeah.
Does that actually? Does that? Caleb Mop and the B level do that? Any criticism? It's the same thing Caleb Mop and the B level does.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting how they act similar like that.
And B Liberal used to do drama videos too. Then he would like put them on the private or unlisted section of his channel. He kind of took that away. He's a fascist, rage quit. But like Jordan's not acting any different from him. Nobody fucking told Jordan he can't do videos on B Liberal. I mean, he always brought him up on some of the other streams.
Yeah,
Nobody.
on and off screen, he was always talking about him. Like,
Yeah.
and we knew
Yeah.
it. We knew it was personal for him, and he said it. He even admitted on his recent stream that it was personal for him. He could have easily made that video. Absolutely.
Again,
Yeah.
he's letting his emotions. Like, first of all, Be Liberal is already gone anyway. Like, he deleted his YouTube account, so now it's literally just him living rent free in his head.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's the thing too.
I
It's
want
like, even if we, go for it.
well, you finish your thought because I want to read this statement out.
Okay, keep that in mind then, because I don't want you to lose the thought. I was just gonna say, like even the like when he was advised, like focus a little bit less on be liberal and do like actual fucking content and shit, like some Marxist content and shit. Even when he would still bring up be liberal, like we wouldn't like discourage it or like especially on stream, but like we would always like let him air out his grievances and shit and like add on to it and like talk about it with him. Like it wasn't like it was like a hostile environment for him to like talk about be liberal. Like every time he brought him up, like we would fucking say some like berate him for it or something. Like he was part of these discussions. Like when he was back in this chat with us, like we would be talking with each other. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
So I just
it's
want to read
also
out.
it's also like, oh, go for it, because I was gonna go into
No, no,
something
no,
else.
no. Just okay. So I just wanted to read out the statement I actually wrote to Nicole, and I'll just let you decide. Is this me just slandering her, or is this just actual criticisms of the video? Let's see. Start. Uh, quote. I obviously have no proof. End quote. Nicole. I have literally been on stream with Jason Unruh several times and shown my face. Care to back up the claim of Kara's lack of knowledge about the United States? The Arizona Rebellion does not exist. I have a cadre in Arizona who lives around the Glendale and told me that there are zero signs of its existence. Kara never said Midnight Productions never existed. It goes by different names, but those kinds of things exist underground. How am I, quote, luring, quote, her back into fascism? How am I a fascist? Where did you get the idea I'm a fascist based on any interactions we have had together? What evidence do you have to back up the slanderous claim in your video? Nicole claims you can't be a Strasserus and Jewish, which is not true. One of the members of the Black Front, a Strasserus group who carried out an assassination in Nazi Germany, was Jewish. I haven't even talked to Jeffrey yet. You are simply gaslighting and assuming us of what you yourself are doing, manipulating and grooming people. There is no, there is not evidence Panther Code exists. Steve's struggle is a Russia stand Nazgul. I literally don't care about the conversions. It's mostly a group of non-revolutionaries on Skype pretending to be a revolutionary org. If you want to join a good revolutionary org, I've been hearing good stuff about United Panther movement. I have not joined at the moment, but I've been hearing some good stuff about them. Demarchism is not left wing, it's not even a synthesized ideology. I was the one who corrected you in the Discord chat we had, Nicole, when you said Venezuela was socialist, that was sliding into social democracy, and I pointed out Venezuela was already SOCDEM. Would a right-wing disinfo operative be part of your Discord server? You've been very childish with your attacks, and I wish you would stop, but you seem to care more about drama and stirring the pot. You have any proof that Kara is anti-Semitic or cisphobic? Calling Kara an Angloid when she is Irish is very offensive. You're literally describing the problem with being British, not the problem with English people. It's very offensive to say you hate all English people. It's just like Jordan saying, fuck all Ukrainians. You yourself, Nicole, admitted that Comrade Net was a misogynist and gaslit Cora. Now you did a complete 180 because you want to be part of the friendship circle, like this is a high school clique. Parapsychology is pseudoscience. Kara never once attacked Net for being Jewish. She attacked Net for pushing religion in secular spaces, pan-transcendentalism, black magic, magi stuff, along with saying stuff like, I don't believe, quote, I don't believe in science, end quote. Kara has stated that she was brought up Anglican, became a Satanist for a brief time, and finally an atheist who says they practice paganism due to it being part of their culture. I was baptized Catholic but raised evangelical Lutheran Church in America, and now an atheist. The issue at hand is bringing your religion up during party work slash business. As Malcolm X said, leave, quote, leave your religion at home, end quote. We are Marxist, and we should all be atheists when it comes to conducting ourselves in the party, in the same regard that we shouldn't be openly using drugs or drinking during party business. We can have private religious views, but they should be kept out of the party. There is nothing wrong per se with militant atheism or anti-theism. Socialist states should do everything in their power to promote atheistic propaganda. Trying to co-opt religious institutions has been a disaster, as we have seen with the Catholic Church in modern Poland or the Orthodox Church in modern Russia. I can't believe I'm having to explain this to a so-called, quote, Marxist, end quote, like you. You are completely sidelined and left, you have completely sidelined and left out of discussion anti-revisionist Marxist-Leninist ARMLs. I can't believe you would agree with my comments that Net needed to be called out more for his misogyny and abusive behaviors, but now completely flip. No principles, only friendship circle.
Yeah, it's really how it goes. I'm trying to look for the comment that you put. Someone posted it in here somewhere. Chat.
Yeah, I can repost
Oh, I
it.
think I found it. I found it. I found it. Um, yeah, there was definitely a lot in there. Like the whole like Venezuela thing too. Like that was super weird because even Jason's line on it is that it's a social democracy and like the fucking Maduro is literally an anti-communist. Like he's fucking attacking the actual fucking communist party there. Fucking
Yeah,
talking
he
about like
is.
the whole like um the Strasserist shit too. Where was that part? We were talking about like
Front
giving.
near the beginning.
Where is that? Oh, one of the members of the Black Front. Yeah, it's like that just gives me like the same vibes as like when fucking Yankee Tanky said that like there is no such thing as a Nazi in Russia or a Russian Nazi because if they're a Nazi they're inherently not Russian. It's like it's pretty much the same logic.
Yeah, despite the fact that Hitler himself said that, like, um, we need to look to the east towards anti-Semitic nationalist Russia as our savior. We cannot rely on the West. And there was Nazis from Russia before, during, and after World War II. So literally,
Yeah,
what the fuck you want about?
yeah, it's crazy shit.
Yeah, world transcendentalism, which just basically just sounds like metaphysics, and of course, Net says he opposes science with a capital S. I saw that one of his, and I got screenshots. I saw that in one of his recent videos where he read his little like not manifesto. I just mean like whatever he calls it, his political ideology, whatever.
Yeah,
Um, rants about Democrat centralism and all that against it. But like and then he justifies his anti-science by like he just says all of it. He with a capital S. I mean, he didn't even like I don't know, attack like positivism or something. Like, no, he just threw everything under the bus. He's known for some forms of anti-intellectualism, unless if it's like mysticism, apparently. And we're not mysticists. Lenin has gone against that before.
yeah. And another thing too is like we've had chats with like Nicole and shit on like demarchism and all this bullshit that Net pushes. And we were even pointing out that like this whole third international theory, like this shit is just fucking it's third positionism in reality. It's like it opposes supposedly opposes both capitalism and communism or Marxism Leninism specifically. And the Green Book itself just pushes a bunch of absolute like misogynistic fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and Gaddafi is one of the heads of Demarchism, supposedly supposedly not, reactionary ideology apparently.
For real. Person aligned with fucking French imperialism, like
Guy who called, for an alliance against uh, black Africans breeding like crazy or something.
Yeah. And he also was talking about how like women are like a fucking budding flower that needs to be protected and shouldn't be doing man's work and all this. But I mean that's shit that Ned agrees with. So
Yeah, and I mean, there's videos of that saying that he's a fourth positionist, Dugan stole it from him, quote, or whatever. Stole it from whoever other name he brings up that when you Google or DuckDuckGo, you won't really even find at all. And really like what exactly does Net dislike about Dugan anyways? They're like what? I mean, Net says that like anarchists and communists are second position, and then the fourth position is the Democrats. And somehow it's like a less authoritarian socialism, according to him. Um, so it's just yeah,
Dugan also talks about a lot about anti-modernity being a part of fourth position and how the synthesis that the very beginning of fourth positionism is National Bolshevism that he starts it, and then he adds to it pre-modern sources
yeah,
and sources like a lot of the Abrahamic religions and shit.
yeah. He does. He goes in a big rant about how Marxism is like represents modernity, um, represents, and then he tries to equivocate it with fascism. Says like progress is racist and primitive communism is fake because primordial traditionalism or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then whenever like Dugan gets into like postmodernism, like the one thing you gotta keep in mind is like he just openly admits that like he literally said one time that um my tactics are postmodern, but I'm really pre-modern. And that's just one of the newest trends within like a lot of these kind of fascist irrationalist types. They're just trying to find a way to attack Marxism or I guess modernity altogether, apparently, because it's such a grand evil. I mean, they just moralize about it, um, and of course, they deny historical materialism, historical progress. It's all like shoved aside for some idealistic framework, basically.
Yeah. I guess one of the differences would be, I guess in Net's version would be like the cosmopolitan thing, because Dugan openly rejects cosmopolitanism as well. Because he points
Yeah,
out, Dugan points out that the communist doctrine itself is modern, atheist, materialist, and cosmopolitan.
yeah.
Oh, you're awake. Oh, never mind.
Maybe.
It is interesting though. There's a quote from the fourth political theory from Dugan, where he says, quote, if we free socialism from its materialist, atheistic, and modernist features, and if we reject the racist and narrow nationalist aspects of the third way doctrines, we arrive at a completely new kind of political ideology. We call it the fourth political theory, or 4PT, the first being liberalism, that we essentially challenge, the second being the classical form of communism, and the third being National Socialism and fascism. Its elaboration starts from the point of intersection between different anti-liberal political theories of the past, namely communism and the third way theories. So we arrive at National Bolshevism, which represents socialism without materialism, atheism, progressivism, and modernism, as well as the modified third way theories. But that is only the first step. The mechanical addition of deeply revised versions of the anti-liberal ideologies of the past will not give us a final result. It is only a first approximation and preliminary approach. We must go further and make an appeal to tradition and to pre-modern sources of inspiration. There we have the Platonic ideal state, medieval hierarchical society, and theological visions of the normative society and political system, Christian, Islamic, Buddhist, Jewish, or Hindu. These pre-modern sources are a very important development for the National Bolshevism synthesis. Therefore, we need to find a new name for this kind of ideology, and fourth political theory is quite appropriate. It does not tell us what this theory is, but rather what it is not. So it is a kind of invitation and appeal rather than dogma, unquote. Sounds very similar to a lot of the shit that Net pushes, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and keep in mind, yeah, that was a great quote to be reading those dudes in there. Yeah, when that pushes like kind of form of like Hellenism and some other stuff. He's always talking about mysticism. And he's doing this stuff in the not just in the public. He's doing it to like, he literally says he's against secularism. You know,
Really? Oh wow.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't like he hates secularism, and that's why he supports putting hijabs on women in Iran, by
Yeah.
force.
And then of course there's the old screenshot from that person who I guess was affiliated with him in a way, right? Where they were like pushing patriotic socialism way back in the day.
Yeah,
Super fucking sus.
yeah, and apparently, like next, comrades don't want people to see that, so they'll just like block you and delete you if you start showing people that. This is like, Jesus. At least some like other deviationists and like revisionists are like willing to engage at the very least, even if they're dishonest at times. This whole thing where you're just like block, 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 and then do more hit attacks, block the comments. It's
Very
just,
cultish.
And then call
yeah,
everybody and then call them like right opportunists and fascists and shit. Right opportunism how, especially? That's what I want to know. It's like these are just fucking buzzwords in the context that they're being used here.
yeah, buzzword. They're like, even liberals don't necessarily call people opportunists out like that. I don't know. I
Even if
guess
you
there's,
go to like the Marxist.org like glossary of terms, like even if you don't want to go directly
Yeah.
to like and everything, if you just want to go like to the baseline basic definitions of like sectarianism and opportunism. The definition of opportunism on Marxist.org says, quote, the opportunist is always ready to adapt its principles to circumstances, minimizes the significance of internal disagreements, treats even opponents as the lesser evil, puts tactical advantage ahead of being true to its principles, is too ready to make compromises, and is all too ready to follow the current of the stream. Quote. That sounds a lot closer to what's going on the other side than over here.
Yeah. Nicole,
yeah,
who previously criticized Ned, and then all of a sudden, like, and you know what else? Fucking Mark Foster criticized Ned too, and these people were all bashing him. Now look at them. They're fucking sharing his videos all the time.
Yeah, for
Ever
real.
since he got friendly with Ned.
Yeah, you got friendly with
yeah,
that. But he's pushing anti-Lumpen bullshit. So
And he also said Iran isn't capitalist or wait, part of the capitalist system.
yeah,
Just
absolute
fucking
absurdity.
like literally every country on earth is quote part of the capitalist system. It is literally global at the moment, in case you people forgot.
yeah. And they also said in like when it comes to like him just keep name dropping Dr. Weisfield and kind of putting a lot of stuff out there in the open about whatever goes on with the Bundes movement, I'm not part of it, but like Ned puts a lot of that stuff out in the attack videos. He'll like change the topic, and all of a sudden he's saying, "Oh, Dr. Weisfield is being brainwashed. He's being oblivious, but and it's Kara and Gangu's fault." And then he on like the 56-minute mark before the first hour, Ned said something. He said, "I got the quote here." He basically said, "I think Dr. Weisfield is having like a double standard with me now." And obviously I can't speak for Dr. Weisfield, but like it's why would I don't know. That's still in context of him saying that he's being like, controlled or whatever, gaslit. They throw so many buzz terms. One time it's just gaslit, next one is controlled. Someone's the next puppet master, and then in the next video, you're someone's anonymous when they're not. It's it's so childish, but it's a little bit worse than childish because some children don't even do this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, facts. And is there a timestamp on that you can give the chat?
for the Dr. Weisfield having a double standard quote,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the 0 hour. It's because that's the stream that went over an hour. So it's like 0 and then the 2 dots, and then it's like minute 56 exactly, basically. And I even had like the Google transcript. I went over these videos twice. I had to do more investigation after I talked to Nicole a bit and all the other stuff that came after that. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not just a passive observer or whatever. Especially when like Jordan's fucking calling me a fascist and calling everybody a
Mhm.
sycophant. He says that anybody following Kara is fascist or me, and then or Gangrus. Um, I mean, I could look for other timestamps here. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, we can go through them. Just go through the ones you want to talk about that you sent to Car, because I think you sent them to Car in DMs and everything. I'll be back
yeah,
in like a minute, but go ahead and keep
Okay.
talking.
yeah. There's one here. This is to the net call stream, not the Jordan one. So I did that one too. But on the 0 hour, let's see, let's pick one here for the most part. Dude, there's so many of them, believe it or not, that I'm just trying to see which one I can pick. I mean, there's one at the 0 hour, 24 minute, 5 seconds, more or less, basically. Um, and that says that like he's not a saint, but that the people says quote like, but the people who are screaming victim, they are not saints, and unquote. And it's just like, do we seriously need that type of framing? I mean, seriously, you're just gonna dismiss everybody? It's just like, no, you're just crying, you're screaming, you're not a saint, just like me. What is that? I don't know. It's victim blaming. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Like, who the hell made you Pope all of a sudden? Like, I mean, fucking nobody's a quote saint
Yeah,
unless you're
and
the
just
fucking
yeah,
Pope.
yeah, and and I even have the timestamps where like he starts to talk about, kind of. I don't even want to say criticize, but just like name drop his wife. It happens like literally after that statement. But I'm not trying to put like people's family out there or whatever. That's Net's doing. He opened his mouth like that. And he's out there. Yeah, he's out there admitting that he like texts other people's moms. Doxing person's names.
Yeah.
And it's something I told Nicole and a bunch of others. I mean, I tell people in general, it's like if you're good, first of all, you're supposed to investigate everything. You're not supposed to just react and then start streaming the next fucking hour and then put it on another person and then shake your head all the time and then just start throwing insults. Like, you're supposed to investigate. So yeah.
Yeah. And like there's been time after time after time, and this is why Dark Savetnik, like why he fucking, or Hyper Savetnik, why he fucking left their server, because he was just sick of all the shit about having criticized Nicole and having his criticisms not really be like heard and implemented, like correct, like which corrects her behavior and shit. Where it's like constantly just jumping into the fucking the drama without fucking doing research and shit, so that her points are like fucking solid, like pinpoint, to where like they can't be denied, and like there has to be an actual, like, to the point where like the only response that the opponent could have is to like deflect or concede,
Or
basically.
block.
Yeah,
Mm.
And
yeah, or
and
block. It's like time and time again, like it came back to like bite her in the ass, like with the Keffels drama shit. She went on the stream there and like basically conceded time after time after time after time again, like all these things that she had said in the past, and like she took accountability on the stream, which was good for her. Like Nicole was actually taking responsibility on that stream, saying like, yeah, I self crit for that, and I was wrong about that, and all this other stuff. Like, but then she continued to like make the same mistakes of like not doing investigation where she speaks, and it came back to bite her in the ass with like that. What was that, Mama Max thing or whatever? I have no idea who Mama Max is, but all I know is that
Yeah,
fascists coming into the server and shit all of a sudden, and like, not only does that put
yeah,
her and the server at risk, but everybody that was in the server at risk. We had to like
yeah,
ban people and shit.
yeah. And I mean, some of those fascists are like rad lib types or whatever drama channels that I'd never even like heard of. Um, Like, it's just like the kind of I guess there's just smaller, like, of these channels that we're just not aware of. They're not Marxist or anything, not socialist either. Some of it's, like, evolved, like, around, I don't know, Raffles or whatever. It's so endless with, like, talking about her. Like, no, Marxists are not gonna be fixating on her. She just, like, deleted all her videos anyway, and whatever. It's like yeah. Yeah, compromising the server, we're supposed to protect your cadres. Not supposed to be exposing them to trolls. That's not to say mistakes don't happen, but like can be like so, reckless at times. And that applies to like anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And also she she retweets in her community post um, videos by Jordan, even though she herself admits that, oh, Jordan was wrong when he said when he was gatekeeping Kara about the trans community, saying like as a cis man, and she agreed, but she still retweeted his fucking video before that. So she clearly isn't even, one, watching the video, and two, she's just promoting it because she's just, you know, basically
Well, she
just a
watched it.
simp.
She
Oh, she
watched
did
it.
watch it,
She
and then
watched it.
she
Yeah,
retweeted it. Yeah,
yeah, because she said that she thinks that like um that Dark Zenobia was like what was the exact wording, noob? Like that he was like hot headed or something, and like it was kind of
Yeah. Yeah. And she knows that. I mean, anything I said to her, post in public. I don't really have that kind of like liberal, private, public Hillary Clinton type thing
yeah,
going on. You know, I
yeah.
can't speak for other people just like that. No, I don't do that. But I can only speak for myself and then investigate, yada yada. Um, but yeah, it's just I mean, I said multiple times, like when you're gonna accuse somebody in public on this type of forum, a cadre or comrade, and you're gonna say they're anti-Semitic, they're back to reactionaryism. I mean, I got one timestamp, two timestamps, where Nicole's saying that Gangroo is the right wing psyop, psychological operation as well. It's like, well, you sound like those people who do that kind of like Fed jacketing. You just go around spreading paranoia, telling everybody that you don't bring any receipts. Net the closest thing Net's ever said on another video is that, well, Mara told me like to wash myself or whatever the hell was that. That's not anti-Semitic, man. Just take a shower. I mean, I do that too. So, um, and I mean, there's been so many videos they've done like 90 minutes, and it's just like throwing word salad at the wall.
Yeah, it really is. And I wish we could like take over the stream somehow and like react to the video, but I don't think there's no way for us to do that. But
Well, part of it's like it might mess up like the whole kind of screen, anyways. If somebody puts the video,
yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of yeah. And, I mean, I could look over for more timestamps. I mean, I could do the Jordan timestamps. I mean,
yeah,
because that video is just as insane as the stream before that. And Jordan even like endorsed the previous stream. It's like, oh, this is important. Like he put that on his community tab. Like this is important, and it's like a smear attack. So you're literally, and I'm sorry, Nicole, but we can't just ignore the content you upload, just because I don't know. That's no, you can't just ignore that shit.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah, that shit is silly.
I
I really
mean,
hope that Nicole fucking does what she actually said she wanted to do, which is get over this drama shit and focus on her videos, her content, like the good content that she does, like exposing like the pedophiles and shit. Like that's great content. Good reporting on that. Much needed reporting on it. And
yeah. I mean,
stop doing this like being a fucking hit dog for fucking Net and Jordan because Jordan has a personal fucking vendetta. Like,
and even if you have your own, I don't know, even if you somehow have your own conclusions about some of us, maybe you should actually investigate or message instead of just putting net up there, and endorsing the Jordan stream on your community tab if you know he's being hot-headed.
yeah, for real. It was a pretty unhinged thing. Pretty gross too. I mean, coming from a fellow trans woman to endorse that shit um, against Kara, especially Jordan's disgusting attacks, where it's like I've done more for the trans community than you have, like trying to gatekeep the fucking trans community from a trans woman. Ridiculous.
And also, transphobia apparently started existing in 2019. Apparently,
Yeah, because
he said that shit too.
yeah, Jordan was like, I was there when transphobia started and shit like that. I was like, what? Transphobia was going on long fucking before like that, dude. Like
Yeah.
that shit was just absurd. It's just sad too, because like Kara's done multiple fucking streams dedicated to trans issues. And it also contradicts his fucking Jordan's original fucking video, the criticism video or whatever. Because he made multiple of them. I don't know if the one that where he said called her a gender warrior like still out there, but like which is it? Does she not do anything for the trans community and not fucking represent them or do any fucking coverage on them? Or is she a gender warrior who's obsessed with it? Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and in the context of me like addressing or us addressing like what's it called, like Jordan going about how supposedly everybody's preventing him from exposing Be Liberal. Like, so when we were talking about that earlier, that's because I'm referring to the timestamp 16 minutes and 30 seconds. And he says, quote, I couldn't say I couldn't say anything or talk to anybody without Carl's approval. Um, and then the timestamp 20, because it was like a 4-minute thing going on about Be Liberal, but in the timestamp 21 minutes 30 seconds, Jordan says that, quote, I never got closure, unquote, when it came to the whole Be Liberal thing. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be sorry about that, Jordan. I mean, I know he was a dickhead. I never denied that. I mean, we've all talked about that with you. I had better interaction with Be Liberal once. Some of you probably more than once or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, no, nobody prevented you. You always brought him up. I brought him up a few times. Sometimes that's the self-criticism I have myself because I didn't realize Net was telling people to focus on Be Liberal since I'm not part of MRN.
And Be
Yeah.
Liberal called you white one time, didn't he? Like,
Yeah, he called basically everybody white, as well. He was like, "Oh, you're all just like a bunch of white leftists out of touch with your community." And this is in the context of like land back, settler colonialism, him going on about Jay Sakai having like influence from Japanese imperialism because he's Japanese diaspora. Yeah, that's fucking crazy, obviously. Um, and then, and obviously we're not for this one drop rule bullshit.
yeah.
I mean, there's another quote here. with no actual like citation, some kind of analogy example. Jordan says, "Quote: This is in minute 25 and 36 seconds against Para. Quote: Do you think the arts are beneath you?" Unquote. Um, and he's basically implying that like she's an elitist or like I don't know. It was something to do with Star Wars and comics. But we've
Yeah.
been on stream about Star Wars with him once, so including Carl. So like, no, dude, we're not. Nobody's elitist. And even if somebody doesn't like art, like Boohoo, come on, grow up.
Plus, a lot of the recent videos about like Star Wars and shit, and all that like the culture stuff that he's talking about, like a lot of it is just like dunking on like reactionary fans of the series. It's like you're not actually promoting anything like yeah, you know, you're not like helping fucking people being attacked and shit in that regard.
It's
Like
just a
talk about the like,
slobberish,
laws going on. Yeah.
slobberish, trollish fucking shit. He's not even just dissecting it from like a Marxist perspective because he doesn't know Marxism. Let's be honest here. Jordan, it doesn't know Marxism because he's not a Marxist. He
Yeah.
just fucking claims to be, but fucking the reality and the end of the day, he doesn't know shit about it. Look at his
Yeah,
posts. He
I
doesn't
mean
talk about theory.
he's done more fucking streams on Star Wars and Palestine. And no, the titles that have current events don't count. We know that's clickbait. Come on.
Yeah, for real. Talk about current events and shit. It's like no, have dedicated streams to these things.
Yeah, it's
It was like when the Palestine thing was flaring up again last year, fucking he was like just showing like fucking live video footage of like protests going on in the first world. He was just like sitting there in silence, like not barely saying anything.
and this is in context of like Jordan constantly complaining that there's no like leftist protesting or whatever other statements he added like later on. They would like switch up.
There's been like all
Oh,
bunch
it's
of stupid shit he was saying, like all his dumbass community posts about like fucking global South conservatives or like they're fucking
he,
opposing Israel for religious reasons or some stupid shit instead of like the actual reality, like the socioeconomic fucking conditions, like fighting for national liberation. That's way more of the primary cause for that than fucking religion. What are you talking about?
yeah, he's literally doing like a reification on on this category of religion, which is like, I mean, come on, like he will like talk about like like just purely like or like religious. He wouldn't even necessarily talk about stats or whatever or polls. I think just once. And then it's just like there's other things than just religion. There's like national liberation. Maybe that's a big part of it, Jordan. You know, not all the Palestinian fighters, resistance is religious. You know, people are aligned with Hamas. They're under a huge genocide.
Yeah, the Palestinian dude I met with at the rally, he was a university student from the West Bank. Doesn't really sound religious to me.
Yeah. Does Jordan even talk? And it's just. I got another quote too after the art thing. Literally like 10 seconds later, on the minute 25 second 55, he says, "Quote, fuck you for smearing me as a transphobe." Unquote. And then the next one, 15 seconds later, 26 minutes, 14 seconds, he says, "Quote, fuck your followers." Unquote. And the next minute he says, in 27, 33 seconds, he says, "Fuck anyone saying I'm engaging in toxic masculinity." And he said this out loud, so you could put like a few exclamation points there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and you can't be fucking saying stupid shit like that, while you're attacking somebody's mental health, a fellow trans woman. And doesn't anybody, to be honest, you shouldn't be fucking putting their health details on blast, dude, on Jordan. And doing it
Yeah,
like in a
I
very
remember
dishonest way.
there was one fucking community post where he put out that was like very clearly influenced by that, despite what he would have you think. Where he said, quote, "I know my posts on Christians are harsh, but I'm so angry considering that the birthplace of Christianity is being destroyed by the Zionists. Where are the Christians in the West? Why aren't they marching alongside Jews and Muslims? I'm not saying they aren't marching alongside them, but Christians should be in larger in number and showing solidarity and support. Where are the Christians denouncing the Zionists in their churches? Why are there so? Where are they? Why is it that Jews are the ones that are willing to do it and Muslims but never Christians?" That last sentence there is like it just shows complete delusion on the case of condition of like religious groups in the West and like how they're reacting to the genocide that's going on. Because it's like, where are they and why is it that Jews are the ones that are willing to do it and Muslims but never Christians? It just shows like absolute and complete delusion. Because if you actually look at like polling data on like the people that are like in favor of like which side and shit, or whether it's saying Hamas's reasons are for fighting Israel are valid or Israel's reasons are fighting are valid and shit. Um, if you actually take a look at that, um, it says from Pew Research, uh, the differences between here. It says people that say that the percent that's saying that Hamas's reason for fighting Israel are not valid. The highest group there that says that Hamas's reasons are not valid are Jewish people, and then it goes white evangelical Protestants as the second place there. So at 71%. Uh, Catholics are all the way down at 53%. Black Protestants all the way down to 33%. And then, of course, Muslims are at the very bottom there. That's to say that Hamas's reason is not valid at 22%, and they also have the highest approval, saying that Hamas's reason is valid at 49%. Um, while Jewish people in this poll only at 16%, saying that they're valid. The only group that says that has it as less valid than them would be again the white evangelical Protestants, which we all know how fucking crazy they are. That's down at 8%. Catholics at 18%, higher than the approval rating for from the Jewish people. So, like, it's clear that that post from Jordan was like influenced by net to try to frame like, oh yeah, um, the Jewish people are like the main force out here supporting liberation for Palestine. It's like, no, that's not the case. It's weird to like try to like divide the proletariat and the people that are protesting the genocide by like religion. Stop doing that shit. Why are you purposefully trying to divide them? You can try to push it in a sense, say like, oh, more people should do this or that or whatever. More people should oppose the genocide, but stop trying to divide it by the fucking by religion. Just talk about it
Right.
on the merits of class and opposing imperialism.
Yeah, socioeconomic, you know. You can even address contradictions if you want, Jordan, you know, but I
Yeah,
don't know
you
if
can
you
address like
yeah.
contradictions among the people and shit. Let's talk about primary contradiction though with imperialism, opposing imperialism. Like, stop making these weird little fucking posts like that.
And some of them are like very absolute. Like they're not even just general. They're like absolute statements um about like
Yeah.
categories of religion or Western religions at times, which just doesn't even always make sense because I think because then he kind of says that, oh, it's only like third world religion or third world Christianity opposing genocide, and then it's just like it's just once the third worldism thing starts getting you know in there, it's just another bag of worms, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he uses various absolutist statements like, I'm not saying all Christians, but then literally says all Christians. And then he says all Jews. Like, and all like oppose Israel or whatever the fuck, and it's like he watches Star Wars. He should know that a Sith always deals in absolutes. Like fucking hell. You know, for a guy who watches Star Wars, he fucking doesn't know enough about the lore. Or maybe
Well,
he
I
likes to
mean,
side with the Sith. I think he sides with the Sith. Yeah, he's a
well,
fucking
And then
didn't
he
he
also
say that
like
like Order 66 was based or whatever?
yeah,
So
kill the Jedi children and genocide the whole fucking.
also when he made that moronic fucking community post about like oh, most of the people that are opposing Israel genocide are conservatives and like shit like that as are more religious. Well, that was like absolute absurdity. And I remember a lot of us had criticisms of that shit, and he we came out here saying like, oh, it's a we're a cult, and we're all just like fanboys of Kara and shit. Like, no, we're all Marxists, so therefore, when you make a ridiculous anti-Marxist statement, of course, we're all going to have a problem with it. It's nothing about being a cult; it's about agreeing that what you said was ridiculous.
Yeah, the
yeah,
primary contradiction is that more conservative people support Israel, and the more left you get, you tend to support Israel. I mean, support Palestine. Um,
Yeah.
and that applies to religion as well. You notice how black Protestants are much different from white evangelical Protestants,
Mm-hmm.
and white
yeah,
evangelical Protestants are different from liberal or mainline Protestants. It's almost like there's some kind of class dynamic going on here.
Yeah, it's almost like the Black Protestants understand like what it means to be nationally oppressed and shit like that, you know. So
yeah,
of course they're going to be more sympathetic to Palestinian national liberation.
yeah. It's almost like, America and especially the South has like a history of, segregation, slavery, and making,
Apartheid.
and forcing different Protestant sects onto, you know, um, the African nation. And then, some of them ended up adopting it for themselves because of, there's other examples, of course. Yeah.
And the South was literally an apartheid regime for literally almost a century plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least legally. I mean, it still is, but at least not quote legally anymore, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just weird. And then the whole like global South conservatism and all that shit trying to whitewash the crap. So yeah, conservatism due to the difference in socioeconomic positions, it's a little bit different. Um, in like the first world and third world and everything. That's true of itself. But even in the context of the third world, that doesn't make conservatism there good. You should be promoting the actual progressives that are there.
Yeah,
yeah, like the,
conservatives like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Jordan that allow Israel to use their airspace.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like with like the Portuguese, kind of middle class converts to Protestantism in the last like 30 years who support Zionism, Bolsonaro, and their conservative Jordan. Um,
Yeah, supposed
you know,
supposed trans ally, and then like fucking Bolsonaro out here being like absolutely fucking genocidal towards fucking trans people, LGBTQ people.
yeah,
And it's gonna be funny too because if they try to say like, oh, but Brazil is a local imperialist power, yeah, I agree, but the same thing also applies to Iran. So
Yep.
yeah. I also found another quote from Jordan, which I know Carr's asleep, but but we can still kind of go over a bit on
Yeah.
minute 27, 36 seconds. This is after he said, fuck anyone saying I'm engaging in toxic masculinity. 3 seconds later, he says, quote, where were you when transphobia is rising in your country? Unquote. Are you serious, Jordan?
Yeah, for real.
And why is Jordan like lecturing trans
Training for
women on when to like on you know on like Jesus, like lecturing like that in public? You know, Jordan cis. I mean.